So, negotiations with Iran, assuming they happen, are about more than super tankers and highly enriched uranium. There's also a human element at play, the fate of American prisoners. There are at least 6 Americans who are believed to be held inside Iran's prisons. One of them is Reza Valizadeh. He's a 49-year-old journalist, a dual Iranian-American national, and a longtime critic of the regime. He went to Iran in March 2024 to visit his parents, and 6 months later, he was under arrest, accused of collaborating with a hostile government. He is now serving a 10-year prison sentence in Iran's notoriously brutal Evin prison. Joining me now is his attorney, Ryan Fayhee. Thank you, Ryan, so much for being here. So the Iranians are refusing to give Reza consular access. There's no U.S. embassy, obviously, in Iran. How are you able to stay in contact with them?
Well, unfortunately, it's been very difficult ever since the protests and the blackout on the internet in Iran. We've never really been able to communicate directly, but now it's impossible to communicate even indirectly through his family. And as a result, we're deeply concerned about his health and safety. And nobody really knows, other than Reza and his fellow prisoners, what's actually happening within Evin prison.
Are you even sure he's still alive?
Well, I'm very hopeful, but I don't have any proof of that. Reza has already endured last June a strike by the IDF on Evin prison. He was evacuated to another prison, and it's clear evidence that he's in very highly unsafe conditions. And now that he's back, the best reports we have that the windows are blown. There's warnings from the IDF early in the war that the area in the vicinity of Evin would be attacked. There's no word on food, the conditions, and the like. So my ask, beyond releasing Reza, which we can talk about, I think it's low-hanging fruit and a way to de-escalate what's happening right now. But at the very least, as an American citizen and among his fellow American citizens, we ought to have the Red Cross or some of our allies in the region get into that prison and at least be assured that Reza's healthy and safe and alive.
Yeah, you would think. You referred to, you just mentioned the, quote, low-hanging fruit. In a negotiation like this, that is as difficult and thorny and complicated as it is between the United States and Iran, a goodwill gesture of releasing these Americans would seem to be an easy thing for Iran to do, to show that they're willing to come to the table, they're willing to talk.
There's no question about it. The U.S. has a lot of leverage. The Iranians have shown, at least, that they believe they have leverage in the Straits of Hormuz. The Iranians give up nothing but goodwill by releasing these Americans right away, inclusive of Reza. And it's the single thing that will bring these two sides to a table to talk about much more complex, long-term issues that obviously need to be resolved. But if we're looking for ways to get people together to align on a single issue in order to, ideally progress to the more difficult ones, this is it.
We just heard Trump post this post on social media talking about, taking a win for the fact that Iran agreed not to publicly execute 8 women who they were holding prisoner. This would also, are you there, Ryan, or are you, is it?
I am.
Okay.
I apologize.
That's okay. You can hit video again if you need to. But the president was just talking about the fact that it was a win that Iran is not going to execute these 8 women. This would be a huge win for the president. Do you know if he is asking the Iranians for their release? Do you know if this is on the radar of the White House and their negotiators?
Yeah, we've been very, very closely in touch with the White House, National Security Council, the State Department, and many others. So we know this is at the very front of their minds. Now, I think there's probably some reluctance to speak publicly about these American citizens and potentially put them in harm's way. But at this stage, they are in a desperate situation within Evin prison in the middle of a war. And so I think it's okay at this stage to put them very much on the table and use them as a means to find an off-ramp and to bring people together again, to negotiate these more complex issues.
Yeah, Roger Carsons, who's the former hostage envoy under both Presidents Trump and Biden, said he's dealt with Russia, he's dealt with China, he's even dealt with the Taliban in Afghanistan, and that they always kept their promises, but Iran does not. So that is what we're up against here.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.